this has been. What a bad mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love. There's a smile on my face for the whole human race. Why, it's almost like being in love. There's a music of life seems to be like a bell that is ringing just for me and for the way that I breathe.
Hello, my name is Svetlana Stone. You are watching Artist Voices, where we believe it's essential for artist voices to be heard. And we are pleased to have Lana Hoffman to talk about local artist and musician, to talk about what it means to be a musician in the 21st century. Thank you so much, Lana, for coming here to Public Media Network. We are excited to learn what it means to be a musician at the 21st century. Could you please tell us about yourself and how you end up in Kalamazoo and what music you are doing, like what artist you are? Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me. I do appreciate that. So I came to Kalamazoo in 2000. So I've been living here for 21 years now. And I came here as a school teacher, actually.
Wow.
I taught 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And shortly after that, opened up my own clothing stores. And so, but all along I've been, of course, singing. Singing has been my passion forever. So I've always had bands and been involved in the theater and in different ways how I could be involved in music. So, so I grew. You want to know how I got into music in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So, I'd say I grew up in a very small town. And part of the curriculum was always choir and band, and it was important. It was a big part of the curriculum. And so I remember every year you had to be in choir. I mean, everyone was in choir in my school, and which was great. I mean, I loved that. But I remember in 3rd grade, it was like 2nd or 3rd grade, I was in one of the high school musicals because they chose a couple kids to be, you know, it was The King and I, actually. And so there had to be some kids in there. And so that was when I got a first taste of being on stage.
So how old you were?
It was either 2nd or 3rd grade.
So this was the first time when you were introduced to the music, correct?
Well, you know, I had been in choir, but with everyone else. But that was the first time I really got a taste of being on stage and, oh, wow, you know, performing a little bit, acting a little bit. So from there, it just kind of, you know, I was more and more interested and really developed it. And, you know, I was in the band. I played clarinet and the marching band and choir and the swing choir. And so through school is really, you know, where I developed such a deep passion for music. And after college, I actually started a country band. I was a country singer back then. And so I had country bands, and then when I moved here, I got involved with the Civic Theater, which was such a wonderful, wonderful thing because that's how I met some of my dearest friends that I have today. So such a sense of community, and I absolutely love that theater. And so I was in a few productions, and then Patsy Cline came along, A Closer Walk with Patsy Cline. So that was my big show, and I was so excited because I've always loved Patsy Cline, huge inspiration. And so I played that part, and just from there on, you know, I started a couple bands here in Kalamazoo, and I actually switched over to more jazz standards, you know, standards and classic pieces and like American songbook type music, and more swing and big band type songs. It was probably back in 2003 or 4, and I'd always known that music but never really performed that music. So I dove into that and fell in love with it, and that's my passion. And so I've been singing in little jazz groups and big jazz groups as well ever since. I've done a few theater productions since then as well, but mostly trios and quartets, but I sing with a lot of different musicians in the area.
You said you were singing country, classical, jazz. What is your favorite genre?
Well, I would say jazz.
Jazz.
It's really hard to say because I also do a little country and rockabilly on the side as well now. It all comes full circle, So I like a lot of different music, but I like to sing the jazz standards and classics the best. I feel like I was definitely born in the wrong era. All that 40s, the music from the 40s and 50s that's my heart and soul. So that would be my favorite, I'd say.
I love it. I saw your wonderful performance yesterday, and I was impressed of your singing, your passion. Like you said, you really love jazz. So it was great and amazing, to see you, another musician. But what does it take? What does it mean to be an artist in the 21st century? What kind of work? What's happened behind the scene? Could you behind the scene? If you can tell us about this more, we'd like to hear that.
Sure. Well, I can only tell you from my point of view, being a singer, and I don't play any instruments, so that is a challenge because I can't just go out and sing a cappella, wherever I want to go. So I always have to have musicians with me, and finding the right like-minded musicians who have the same vision or want to perform the same amount or places or whatever. That can be a challenge in itself. So once you find musicians, then of course you have to do some practicing with them. But with jazz musicians, it's not quite as difficult because you're playing the standards and classics. So basically you can say, okay, let's play East of the Sun in key of C, and everybody knows it, and you go. And they throw in their own little flair or a solo here and there, but basically there's a set format for the standards and classics. So it's there's not quite as much practice that is needed, but it just kind of depends on the group. So you get your group together, and now you're ready to perform. Well, where are you going to perform? So next thing you have to do is try and market yourself. And that's a whole thing in itself as well, because everything is so online and social media driven. And for someone who's a little older who is not great with technology, that's a challenge for me. Anyway, just getting yourself out there on those media formats. But I play a lot of different clubs in the area and a lot of different venues, a lot of corporate events, private events, whatever. And when you first start out, they aren't just right there handed to you. These are things you have to hit the pavement and find on your own. So knowing where to go, who to talk to, the right things to ask, and you have to really sell yourself at that moment, unless you have an agent. But around here, of course, you probably don't have an agent. So you are your own advocate, your own agent. So then you have to figure out where you would like to play. Are they even having live music? Do they have a venue for live music? Okay, so now who are you talking to? The manager, the owner? All right, what's it going to take to get booked in here? All right, what's your budget? How much are we charging? How much are you paying? There's a lot of communication that goes on behind the scenes before a gig or a performance even ever happens. And I think people don't see that part of it, but it's kind of second nature for me now because I've been doing it for 20 years. But that's a challenge. That's a challenge to find those venues and find those gigs and to be relevant and stay relevant in the local scene. So that's part of it. Then you have to get your equipment. So what kind of equipment are you using? Well, I have my own sound system, so there's can be a lot of cost in that, but so you're schlepping your own sound system around. So now I'm carrying my own sound system and setting it up, and now I'm dealing with, okay, are we going to have sound issues tonight or not? Is there going to be feedback? What's the venue like? Is the sound going to bounce off the walls and sound terrible? Every event is different, and like I said, I've been doing it for so long that I I've got it, you know, kind of dialed in, and it's not really that big of a deal for me, but that's all part of it. It's all, you know, to get that sound perfect for the audience to hear it. There's a lot involved in that. And then also making sure your musicians are going to show up. And, you know, and then now with COVID, there have been, I mean, that has really set back quite a few. That's been a challenge. COVID has been a challenge. Obviously, it's been a challenge for everyone. But for musicians especially, because so many of the venues were shut down for so long. And now a lot of the venues are no longer. Either they've closed down for good, like the Union, for example.
That's what's said.
Or maybe they're having very limited, you know, they have limited tables and limited staff, so they've cut out, you know, entertainment for now, or they don't have the budget for it. So those are all things that you know, people don't realize that musicians have to think about and deal with and get around, and, you know, just to get a venue and just, you know, to get a performance. So it can be difficult, but COVID has really thrown everyone for a loop. And thank goodness, you know, it's starting to open up. I'm starting to see a lot of new venues and some of the old venues having music again, which is refreshing. So we'll see. I mean, it's always a work in progress, and it's an ever-changing atmosphere out there, so we'll see how things go.
And we hope everything will be better and better.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, I feel like it will. I feel like we're getting there.
Yeah, we'll have a hope that everything will be great. And again,
yes.
Again, we're waiting for positive changes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing. And what you said you're passionate about, you know, especially jazz. What are you trying to say through your music? Because jazz is not just only like a beautiful music or background that people think. You know, there's a lot of history involved. So what kind of message, or what are you trying to tell people through your music?
Absolutely, you are correct. I mean, that the music, the standards and classics from the, you know, Great American Songbook and the big band era and the swing era, those tunes, there's so much emotion and there's stories behind them. I mean, it's from an era, it's from a time, a period in this country where things were, I don't know, it seems like they were more simple. You didn't have the technology, all the, you know, all that good stuff. So it's from just a really great time period in this country. And when I perform these songs, and you know, my audience, a lot of the people that come to see me, they may be a little older, and they're more from that. They love that genre of music, and they're from that time period more. And so it takes them back. I mean, it takes them right back to a time period where, you know, good feelings and family and just everything positive. So I think that music, it makes you feel so good, you know, when you hear it. You know, I'm talking about Frank Sinatra and, you know, Ella Fitzgerald and Sarah Vaughan and Nancy Wilson, you know, all of these people, pure voices, and just their message was so clear. And I mean, sometimes I just stop in my tracks and just listen to the quality and the purity of this music, and it was just so good. So trying to convey that, you know, through my own singing too. What I try and get out there is to bring that feeling back, to make the song, you know, keep the integrity of the song, and of that time period, of that music, and just really, you know, bring it to the audience so that they can, you know, so that they're feeling it too. It's all about pleasing the audience. You know, for me, it's not necessarily, it is about what I like to sing, but it's also about playing the music that they want to hear.
To make them feel good.
To make them feel good, so that, you know.
That's important.
Right. Then they're going to come back. They're going to come back to see me, and then hopefully next time I'll have a bunch of new songs to sing for them. But it's, that music is just, I feel like is, you know, that it's timeless. That music is timeless. And just from such a great time period in this country. So
And it's touching people's hearts, like
Yes.
you said. People feels good. They want to come back.
Yeah.
They, can.
Well, and they know the
feel
music
it.
too. They can sing along if they want, but I mean, just that they can identify with that music, and it's so much fun to sing too. I mean, I love it. Love that music.
Welcome to Artist Voices. And for those of you who just tuned in, we are here with local musician Lana Hoffman at Public Media Network to learn what it takes to be a musician in the 21st century. Thank you for watching. And Lana, I would like to ask you, what is the best advice another musician ever give it to you and you really like it, you take it, and it helped you to be where you are now?
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily came from musicians, but maybe more from my family and the way I grew up was just the working hard. I mean, you can't get anywhere unless you just work. And my work ethic, I feel, is very, very, very strong. I like to try to be the best, or the best that I can be at anything that I do, owning my stores or playing sports or singing or whatever. So I'm not a very competitive person, but I don't like to, I won't go on stage if I only maybe know a song a little bit, or maybe the song isn't quite worked out just yet, but we'll go ahead and try it. Like I want to have it down. So being professional and working hard and bringing that, like every single performance is important. Every performance, I feel, needs to be, 100% professional and spot on, and bring your A game all the time. Leave all the nonsense maybe that you're dealing with behind, and be on for the performance. And I don't care if it's, for a club when there's 15 people out there, or if it's an auditorium with 150. Whatever the performance is, I, work hard to get there, and then be very professional when singing and just when conducting myself or playing with different musicians.
But what another musician, give you like an advice? Another musician you work in, you said you connect to so many people, you work with many musicians. What they gave you
well,
that you really take it? Yeah, I mean, you said you already have like a high level of work ethic and stuff like that. But have you received like the advice that really touch your or change your perspective of music?
Well, a good friend of mine, when I first started singing this style of music, she's actually a classical singer, really well known around the area, amazing classical singer. And she said when I need to do more to develop my own signature style of singing, because, for me, like when I was playing Patsy Cline in the theater, Closer Walk with Patsy Cline, so I had to perform Patsy Cline. I had to sound like her and look like her and do
Correct.
just what she did. And I got used to doing that. And I got used to singing, or listening to music and then singing it just the way that I heard it on the record. Well, she said you need to branch out a little bit and put your own signature touch on each piece. And so I've really, I just do that now, but that does stick with me quite a bit, because sometimes I'll revert back and start singing it just like I heard it on the recording. I'm like, no, okay, now how can I make this a little different? How is it going to be mine now? So I guess that would be some good advice that has stuck with me. And
it's a great advice to be you.
Yeah.
Be you.
Yeah.
And bring your own feelings to the art.
Yeah.
It's great advice. Great advice. And what do you try to achieve through your music?
Well, I mentioned it a little bit earlier. I mean, the reason I go out there and perform is to make other people happy or feel a certain way, or, you know, I want them to enjoy what I'm singing. You know, I'm not up there singing just to hear myself sing. So of course I want to please whoever's in the audience watching. So I kind of play off of the crowd and, you know, figure out what type of music or what type of songs they like, or, you know, maybe they make requests or whatever. So just, you know, really trying to, you know, read that audience and bring them something, bring them an experience. You know, they took the time and came out to see me, so I want them to have a great experience and a great feeling and walk away thinking, wow, what, you know, what a great time, what a great singer, you know, I want to go back. So that's, you know, just, again, keeping it professional and just really trying to capture my audience the best that I can.
Thank you. And how our audience can find information about you and about your future performance? Is there any website that you would like to share so people can find you?
Yeah. So I always post, like I said, you know how bad I am
We've
with
talked about-
technology. But I do post when, you know, my events, where I'm playing and when I'm playing on my Facebook page. It's just Lana Hoffman. And I also have a little page called Lana Hoffman Jazz Trio, so I will post things on there as well. A lot of people will, I have their phone numbers personally. I text a lot of people, a lot of my fans, and email them, and you know, that personal connection, because I know a lot of the people that have been coming to see me for years. So people can always get a hold of me down at the store, Lana's Boutique, and you know, people will call there and be like, hey, where are you playing this week? And I like that personal touch, you know, instead of just putting it on a website and being done with it. I like to know who's interested and be able to personally contact my friends and my fans. So so yeah, I guess, you know, Facebook would be the best way, but then, you know, feel free to call me, stop down, check it out. I'll take your phone number and text you when I'm playing.
Thank you. Is there anything else you would like to tell to our audience, something that we may miss about you would like to share? Or
boy.
let them know something?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I will be, I didn't really talk about, you know, the different musicians that I do play with around here, and there's a lot of them. I sing with a couple of big bands, the Gull Lake Jazz Orchestra, the Otsego Jazz Ensemble. So those are big band orchestras. And then I also have a few different trios here and there. And I play with tons of different musicians for different events, which is so much fun. But for New Year's Eve, actually, I'll be playing the downtown Kalamazoo New Year's Eve Fest with Barry Ross, and he'll be on violin, and Terry Lauer on piano, Larry Ochiltree on drums, and myself. So we'll be part of the New Year's Eve Fest, and so that'll be a lot of fun.
Where is it going to happen? Is it like?
It's all downtown, so it's
Downtown.
you know, just different venues.
Okay.
Churches and different venues downtown. So so we'll be down there, and I'm pretty excited about that. That's going to be fun. And in the meantime, I sing with my trio different places, but that's the biggest one coming up.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I was really happy to learn about you, about your music, challenges that musicians face, in the 21st century. That was great to know. It's important. And thank you so much. I wish you, with your music, with all the dreams that you have as an artist, I wish you that, you would have more venues, whatever you have in your heart or message you try to bring through your music, I wish you that you could go more, and you would not worry about advertisement. It's gonna happen, like you said, personal connection, and even like this show that you came, we appreciate. It would be, I wish you great things happen to your life.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And well, this concludes Artist Voices episode. where we believe it's essential for artist voices to be heard. And we thank our local musician, Lana Hoffman, for joining us tonight. Thank you for watching. Check her information, check her Facebook, and we're gonna see you next time.